Hi everyone, it's Sandy, and today I'm doing my top 14 books of 2014. During the year of 2014, I've read 112 books, and that is excluding rereads such as Vampire Academy, Divergent, or Mockingjay in preparation for the movies. And for pages, I read 39,943 pages during this year, and I think that's crazy. So my top books for 2014 are books that I've read in 2014. They aren't necessarily published this year. Some are, some aren't. So the first book that I fell in love with in 2014 is Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. This is my very first Colleen Hoover book, and I just fell in love with it. This was one of the books that got me more interested in the contemporary genre since I wasn't a big fan of it before. I first found out about this book on iBooks. You know how every week or so they have a free book for you to download, and this was one of the books. So I downloaded it and I read it on my phone, and I just loved it so much. The next book is also a contemporary book, and that is Easy by Tamara Weber. I really love the romance in this book, and I really like the storyline, so if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. The next book is Ignite Me by Tahira Mafi. This is the third book in the Shatter Me trilogy. This book is my favorite in the trilogy. I love Tahira's writing. Her writing is just beautiful. I love the characters in this book, especially Kenji. He's my favorite. He's like the comedic relief in the story. The next book is Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page, and I know that there's a lot of mixed reviews on this book and there's a lot of controversy surrounding it, but I read this book before knowing about all the controversial issues with this book, and I just loved it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and I even filmed a book review on this book, which I rarely do. So I'm going to link all the book reviews of the books that I've discussed in this video in the description box. So if you want, you can check that out to learn more about my thoughts. I wasn't a big fan of The Wizard of Oz, but I love the author's take on the world and seeing how things are different from the original story. The next book is Sweet Reckoning by Wendy Higgins. This is the third and final book in the Sweet trilogy. And again, this is my favorite in the trilogy. I just loved the way the author wrapped it up. I definitely teared up a couple times throughout this book, and I just love Kaiden and Anna. Overall, the Sweet trilogy isn't a favorite trilogy of mine, but I loved this book in particular, and I just love how the author ended the story.
Oh shit. Oh. Okay, bad idea. Okay. This is what I hate about having books stacked on top of one another.
The next book is no surprise, and that is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the ending of The Mortal Instruments, one of my all-time favorite series, and I just loved it. I mean, Cassandra Clare, one of my favorite authors. What more do I have to say? This was a great conclusion. The next book is one of my favorite contemporary book of all time, and if you've been watching my videos for a while now, pretty sure you know what it is, and that is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I love this book so much. The main character was so relatable, and I really loved the storyline. I have a book review on this, which I will link down below if you want to know more about my thoughts. If you haven't read this book yet, you should read it because it's so good. And I've read all of Morgan Matson's books, excluding the Katie Finn book, and this has to be my favorite. My next favorite book is Cress by Marissa Meyer. This is the third book in the Lunar Chronicles, and this is a retelling of Rapunzel. What I love about the Lunar Chronicles is that each book introduces a new character, yet you still get the point of views of the previous characters. A lot of people say that this book is their favorite in the series so far, and I would have to agree. It definitely is a favorite of mine. The next book is another Colleen Hoover book, and that is Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. Again, I have a review of this book because I love it so much, so I'm going to link that down below if you want to check it out. From the very first sentence of this book, I immediately knew that I was going to love it. I've already seen a lot of hype surrounding this book prior to reading it, and I mean, I loved Hopeless, so I knew that I was going to at least like this book. I think I may like it a bit more than Hopeless. Yes, Hopeless was the first Colleen Hoover book that I read, so it definitely has like a special place in my heart. But I just love this story a lot more. And I really love how music played an important aspect in this book, and readers get to actually listen to the songs that Sydney writes, which was a really great reading experience. This book did make me cry, and I love Colleen Hoover for like making me feel all these emotions, because she is a fantastic writer, and I still need to read the Slammed trilogy. I have the second and third book. I still need to get the first book. So once I do that, I'm going to like marathon the entire trilogy. And the next book is Deity by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I talk about this series a lot, so I'm pretty sure you guys all know that I love the Covenant series. This is the third book in the Covenant series, and it's my favorite in the whole series. I've noticed that in a lot of series, the third book always tends to be my favorite, such as in the Mortal Instruments, and even in the Lux series, the third book is my favorite. And so far in the Heroes of Olympus, the third book is my favorite. There's something about third books that I really like. If you like the Lux series and you like Vampire Academy, you will like this book a lot. The next book is The Winner's Curse by Marie Rakowski. Honestly, I was not expecting to love this book, but I really do. I love the relationship that the two main characters have. Kestrel is a very strong and intelligent female character, and what I really like about her is that she's not like physically strong, but she's like mentally strong, and I love that about her. She's not like Selena Sardothian, who can kill someone within a blink of an eye. That's why I really like Kestrel, because she's different, and whenever I read books that have different things that I've never like read before, I tend to really enjoy it. Next is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. And again, I wasn't expecting to like this book, considering that there was so much hype surrounding it, but I was proven wrong because I really enjoyed this book. So in this book, the main character Leah flees on her wedding day, and she runs away to this like village, and in the village she encounters two men. One is an assassin that is sent to kill her, and one is a prince that she was supposed to marry. And the really cool thing is that the readers do not know which is the assassin and which is the prince, which I loved not knowing. I do feel that the romance in this book was a bit rushed, but overall this was a really great read. The next book is The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. This is the third book in the Heroes of Olympus series. I've only read the first 3 books, and so far this is my favorite. One of my favorite things about this book is that we actually have Annabeth's perspective. Annabeth is one of my favorite characters, and I loved reading in her point of view. And the last top book of 2014 for me is Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Jennifer L. Armentrout does not disappoint me. I always end up really loving her books. And I love how this is a standalone contemporary, and it's a mystery book too, which is very different from like her Lux series and her Covenant series. I haven't read any of her like new adult books yet, which I do plan on soon. I read this book in one sitting, which it was about 3 hours, and I normally don't read books that fast. And I really love the mystery aspect of this. I just could not put this book down. That has been 14 books that have been my favorite of 2014, and now I'm going to do some honorable mentions. I'm just going to show the books. I'm not going to talk much about it. Opposition by Jennifer L. Armentrout, In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken, Pushing the Limits and Dare You To by Katie McGarry. I can't really pick which one is my favorite. I've only read the first 2, but I really enjoyed the first 2, so that's why I'm including them in my honorable mentions. Silver Shadows by Rochelle Mead, The Duff by Cody Keplinger, The Forever Song by Julie Kagawa, and Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. That is it for my top 14 books of 2014. 2014 has been such an incredible year. It's the year that I started BookTube. If you have any similar favorite books of 2014 that I mentioned, please let me know in the comments below so we can talk about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!